about supporting organizations like #MyImageMyChoice, educating ourselves and others about the dangers of deepfakes, and advocating for stronger legal protections.
It's about using our voices to challenge harmful behavior and to demand a safer and more equitable online world.
And it's about recognizing that this isn't just a women's issue.
Right.
It's a human issue.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their gender, race, or online presence.
Absolutely. We need to stand together and fight for a future where technology is used to empower and connect people, not to exploit and divide them.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier. Those countdown websites that anticipated Emma Watson's 18th birthday.
Right, the ones that weren't just innocent fan pages, but seemed to carry this unsettling undercurrent of anticipation for her reaching the age of consent.
Exactly, and it's important to unpack the psychology behind that type of behavior.
Yeah.
What is it about turning 18 that seems to trigger this kind of obsessive fascination?
It's almost like they're viewing these young women as objects that become available once they reach a certain age.
Right.
Which is just incredibly disturbing.
It speaks to a deeply ingrained culture of objectification and the sexualization of young women.
Right.
And it's not limited to just countdown websites. We see it in the media, in advertising, and in countless other aspects of our society.
It's like this message is constantly being reinforced, telling young women that their worth is tied to their physical appearance and their sexual availability.
And that message can have devastating consequences, leading to body image issues, self-esteem problems, and even putting young women at risk of exploitation and abuse.
It's a vicious cycle that we need to break.
It is.
We need to start challenging these harmful narratives and promoting a more positive and empowering view of women and girls.
It's about teaching young people to value themselves for who they are, not how they look. And to recognize that their bodies and their sexuality are their own, not something to be exploited or objectified by others.
It's a long and challenging road ahead, but it's a fight worth having.
Absolutely. Now I think it's time we shift gears and explore the legal landscape surrounding deepfakes and the efforts being made to combat this type of abuse. Are there any laws specifically targeting deepfakes? And what are the challenges in enforcing them?
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely dig into after a quick break. Stay with us. All right, so we've talked about this disturbing trend of Emma Watson's image being exploited through deepfakes and the unsettling community known as the Matthews.
Right.
But what can actually be done about it? Are there any legal ramifications for creating and distributing this type of content?
Well, the legal landscape surrounding deepfakes is still evolving, and it's definitely a bit of a gray area right now. There are laws against things like defamation, harassment, and revenge porn, which could be applied in some cases. But they weren't specifically designed with deepfakes in mind.
So it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly. The technology is moving faster than the law can keep up with. But there are some positive developments. As we mentioned earlier, the UK has taken a big step by criminalizing the creation of deepfakes, specifically those intended to cause harm or distress.
That's encouraging. It seems like they're acknowledging the unique threat that deepfakes pose and taking steps to protect potential victims.
Right, and it's had a tangible impact. Some websites that host deepfake content have blocked access from the UK in response to this legislation.
So it's proving to be a deterrent, at least to some extent.
Yeah.
Well, what about the U.S.? There's been a lot of talk about the need for similar legislation here.
Right.
But so far, nothing concrete has been passed.
That's true. There have been a few bills introduced, but none have made it through the legislative process yet. It's a complex issue with a lot of different perspectives and concerns to consider.
Like what? What are some of the arguments against criminalizing deepfakes?
Well, one of the main concerns is free speech.
Right.
Some people argue that deepfakes, even those that are harmful, are a form of expression and should be protected under the First Amendment.
I can see how that argument could be made. But where do you draw the line between free speech and protecting people from harm?
That's the million-dollar question. It's a delicate balance and there's no easy answer.
For sure.
Another concern is the potential for overreach.
Okay.
Some worry that laws targeting deepfakes could be too broad and could end up criminalizing legitimate uses of this technology.
Like in the film industry, for example.
Exactly. Deepfakes are already being used in films and TV shows for special effects and other creative purposes.
Right.
There's a fear that strict laws could stifle innovation and creativity.
So it's about finding that sweet spot. a legal framework that protects individuals from harm without stifling technological advancement and artistic expression.
Absolutely. It's a tough challenge, but it's one that we need to tackle head on.
Okay, so legislation is one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But what about other approaches to combating deepfake abuse? What else can be done to address this issue?
Well, on the technological front, there's been a lot of work being done to develop deepfake detection tools.
Okay.
Researchers are creating algorithms that can analyze videos and images for subtle inconsistencies that might indicate a fake.
So it's like a digital forensics team for videos.
Right.
They're looking for those telltale signs that something isn't quite right.
Exactly. They might look for things like unnatural blinking patterns, inconsistencies in lighting, or subtle distortions in facial features.
Wow.
The goal is to create a system that can reliably flag potentially fake content.
That sounds promising. Right. But wouldn't those creating deepfakes just find ways to get around those detection tools? It seems like a constant arms race.
It is. As detection methods improve, so do the techniques used to create deepfakes.
Right.
But it's a race worth running. Even if detection isn't perfect,
it
can help to raise awareness and make it more difficult for deepfakes to spread unchecked.
Okay, so detection is one approach.
Yeah.
What else is being done?
Another strategy is to focus on content authentication.
Okay.
There are initiatives underway to develop digital watermarks or signatures that can be embedded in media to verify its authenticity.
So it's like a digital certificate of authenticity for videos and images.
Precisely, these watermarks would be difficult to remove or tamper with, providing a way to track the origin and integrity of content.
That's a great idea. But it would require widespread adoption to be effective, right?
Yes. It would need buy-in from tech companies, content creators, and social media platforms.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a big challenge, but the potential benefits are huge.
It would definitely make it harder for deepfakes to slip through the cracks and deceive people.
But beyond technology, we need to address the social and cultural factors that contribute to deepfake abuse.
Right.
It's about educating people about the dangers of deepfakes, promoting critical thinking skills, and fostering a culture of respect and consent online.
So it's not just about stopping the bad guys. It's about empowering individuals to be savvy consumers of information and to recognize the potential for manipulation.
Exactly. We need to teach people how to question what they see online, to think critically about the sources of information, and to be wary of anything that seems too good to be true.
It's about building a society that's more resilient to misinformation and manipulation.
Right. And it's about creating a culture where people are held accountable for the content they create and share.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. It's unsettling to think about the potential harm that deepfakes can cause, but it's also encouraging to see that there are people working hard to combat this issue.
It's a complex challenge, but it's one that we need to face head on.
Absolutely. We can't afford to be complacent. The future of our online world, and perhaps even our offline world, depends on it.
Well said.
Well, things are about to get
it's going to get
even darker. Yeah, we're staying in that same uncomfortable zone.
Right.
Exploring the disturbing side of online behavior. You might remember we touched on the Matthew community briefly.
Yeah.
Today we're going to take a deep dive into that world and how it's impacted actress Emma Watson.
So what's important to understand here is the term Matthew itself.
Okay.
It's not just any fan. It's internet slang for a very specific type of persona.
Right.
Think like a bearded guy who's fixated on a female celebrity.
Okay.
To the point of creating and sharing false, often sexualized content about them.
And to give you a sense of just how pervasive this is, as of 2025, there are over 2,000 deepfake porn videos.
Wow.
Featuring Emma Watson online.
Oh my goodness.
Deepfakes, by the way, are videos where someone's face is digitally replaced with another person's, making it look like they're doing or saying things they never did.
Yeah.
So 2,000 of these videos.
Yeah.
That's more than all the actual movies and TV shows Emma Watson has ever been in combined.
That's, that really highlights the sheer volume of this non-consensual content out there. Right. And the fact that this is happening with little to no consequence.
Shit, believable.
And it's not just limited to one obscure corner of the internet. We're talking multiple websites dedicated to this kind of content.
Yeah, like where?
MrDeepfakes.com, CFakeSexCelebrity.net, FamousBoard.com, even places like DeviantArt.
So it's like this whole network of platforms hosting everything from deepfake porn to manipulated images to AI-generated content, all depicting Emma Watson in disturbing situations.
Right.
For instance, there's a site called lewd.ninja that features 3D deepfake videos showing bestiality and other degrading acts.
Oh, gosh.
It's incredibly dehumanizing.
And then you have sites like xvideos.com, where you find videos depicting simulated sexual assault, which completely disregards Emma Watson's well-being and consent.
Of course.
Then you have DeviantArt, where users create images of her in unrealistic and often degrading scenarios, like portraying her as a bodybuilder bound and gagged or wrestling other female celebrities.
It's just disturbing how creative they get with this.
It's like they're trying to come up with the most dehumanizing and degrading situations they can.
Yeah, and the aggression from the Matthew community is also evident in the way they title their videos.
Right.
On sites like sexcelebrity.net. They're often filled with insults and derogatory language aimed directly at Emma Watson.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is a disturbing level of obsession and objectification.
It's scary.
It goes beyond simply admiring a celebrity. It's about exerting a sense of control and dominance over them through these fabricated scenarios.
Right.
And to make it even more tangible, there are actually 6 Emma Watson sex dolls available for purchase online.
Oh my God, it's just... Yeah, and this isn't just happening in the shadows.
Right.
These Matthews have been known to harass Watson on social media.
Oh, wow.
Demanding nude pictures and videos, then resorting to insults when she ignores or blocks them.
One of the most disturbing stories I came across comes from cfake.com, where there's a video depicting a simulated assault by Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, God.
Given the trauma associated with the Me Too movement, this is particularly disturbing.
And it gets even darker.
Yeah.
On that same site, there's a video where Watson is portrayed in a snuff-like film.
Oh my God.
Which means it's made to look like a real murder is taking place.
Ugh.
In this video, she's being abused by multiple Matthews. Matthews forced to drink their urine and left nearly dead.
That's just...
It's horrifying.
Horrific.
It's beyond simply creating disturbing content.
Right.
It's about inflicting psychological harm and perpetuating a culture of violence against women.
Exactly.
And it's not just confined to these dedicated websites.
Right.
This behavior has spilled over to mainstream platforms like Reddit and WikiFeed.
I've seen that.
Where even normal pictures of Emma Watson are met with vulgar and sexually suggestive comments.
Ugh. It's like there's no escape from this constant harassment.
It seems inescapable.
Yeah.
Here's what I find particularly striking.
Okay.
Remember the Jessie Slaughter cyberbullying case?
Yeah, vaguely.
It caused a huge public outcry.
Right.
Yet this level of harassment directed at Emma Watson has been met with relative silence.
That's an interesting contrast.
That's a stark contrast.
Yeah, why is this behavior allowed to continue unchecked?
I don't know.
Why is there such a disparity in public reaction?
Yeah, it's a complex issue.
It is.
Part of it might be the perceived anonymity of online spaces,
right,
making it harder to hold individuals accountable.
Makes sense.
But there's also a sense that because she's a celebrity,
right,
this kind of treatment comes with the territory.
It's like it's expected almost.
It's almost as if her privacy and dignity are seen as less important.
Yeah.
Because of her fame.
Because she's in the public eye.
And let's not forget the review we came across.
Oh, yeah.
For one of the Emma Watson sex dolls.
I remember this.
It was almost celebratory in tone.
It was like they were proud of it.
It's jarring when you compare it to the way the creator of the Pity Farm Pookie Pest podcast was treated.
Right.
There was a sense of moral outrage there that seems to be completely absent when it comes to the Matthews and their treatment of Emma Watson.
It really does point to a troubling double standard.
Huge double standard.
In how society reacts to different forms of online behavior.
Absolutely.
It's almost as if some forms of exploitation are considered more acceptable than others.
Right.
Which is a dangerous precedent to set.
To really understand the mindset driving these actions.
Okay.
We found an article by the porn dude that we want to look at.
Okay.
Just a heads up. It gets pretty graphic.
Okay.
So we'll be sanitizing some of the language.
Yeah, I understand.
This article is a window into the dehumanizing rhetoric that pervades these online communities.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's important to understand the language they use to better recognize and combat this harmful behavior.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's unpack this.
Okay.
The article starts off talking about Emma Watson's career and accomplishments, but it quickly takes a dark turn.
Okay.
The language is clearly designed to reduce her to an object of sexual desire.
Right.
completely ignoring her agency and individuality.
So typical.
It's littered with derogatory terms.
Wow.
The author even fantasizes about sexually assaulting her.
Oh, God. That's awful.
It's just disgusting and disturbing.